him a cultural icon. The Prime Minister added that he is admired across generations for his versatile performances. And Virat Kohli became the fourth cricketer to surpass 27,000 international runs during the second test against Bangladesh, only the second Indian after Sachin Ramesh Tendulkar. ICC Chairman and BCCI Secretary Jai Shah has hailed the cricketer for his feat, and his post on X says, "Your passion, consistency and hunger to excel inspires many." Well, on that note, let's shift focus, ladies and gentlemen. The 64-year-old Hassan Nasrallah joined the Shia militia Amal movement at the age of 15 and joined the Hezbollah at just 22. By the time he was 25, he had become the deputy head of the Beirut region. At just 32, he had become the Secretary General of the Hezbollah. This was in 1992. 5 years later, in 1997, the Hezbollah was designated a foreign terrorist organization by the US State Department. Since then, more than 60 countries, which include the Arab League and the Gulf Cooperation Council, have designated this outfit as a terrorist group. Hassan Nasrallah himself was a specially designated global terrorist by the US and many other nations. Does he have an India connection? No. Wasn't he the one who celebrated the October 7 massacre by the Hamas? Yes. Isn't he the one who wanted Kashmir Azad and called Kashmir Azad? Yes. And called Bharat an occupier? Yes. Then why do those who have sworn allegiance to Bharat, its constitution and its tricolor, then mourn him and hail him a hero? What is their connection to him? Sectarian, because he's a Shia? Religion, as he's Muslim? What should be our assessment of these netas and supporters then? Those that harbor secessionist intent? Those that eventually intend to subvert the constitution, the tricolor and Bharat, while claiming to work under it, for it? Voters, choose wisely. Custodians of Bharat safety, watch closely. Upholders of justice in our country, please take suo motu cognizance, because this must set the alarm bells ringing. Let's understand this a little more, ladies and gentlemen. Hassan Nasrallah, the leader of Hezbollah for over 3 decades, has been tagged a martyr in Bharat. But is this tag even justified? Is he a martyr or a murderer? 1983-84 suicide truck blasts at the US Embassy and US Marine barracks resulted in over 300 deaths among Americans and Lebanese. 1985, a Trans World Airlines flight was hijacked by a Hezbollah member and who shot and killed a US Navy diver. 2005, a car bomb in Beirut killed Lebanon's former premier. UN investigators pointed to Hezbollah and Syria as the culprits, all under Nasrallah's leadership. 2006, Hezbollah shut down Lebanon's parliament for 18 months after Prime Minister Fouad Siniora rejected Nasrallah's demand for a blocking veto. Hezbollah gunmen attacked opponents in several cities, breaking Nasrallah's promise to avoid violence against fellow Lebanese. A blast caused by 2,750 tons of ammonium nitrate under Hezbollah-controlled team killed 218 people, left 3 lakh people homeless, causing extensive damage. But this is not the first time a terrorist has been hailed or tears have been shed for them. PDP and the NCP, these parties within the National Conference, beg your pardon, the PDP, the National Conference, and also some other parties across the country seem to have be habituated in supporting such elements and eulogizing them. 2016, when Hizbul Mujahideen commander Burhan Wani was killed, Mehbooba Mufti said she would have given Burhan Wani a chance had she known he was trapped in the encounter. In 2019, she pushed for a dialogue between the centre and the entire militant or terrorist leadership. She said local terrorists or local militants are sons of the soil and our maximum effort should be to save them because they are assets. In 2013, Omar Abdullah condemned Afzal Guru's hanging and said his hanging will reinforce alienation. Now echoing Mehbooba Mufti's sentiments on Burhan Wani's killing, Omar Abdullah said, "Mark my words, Burhan's ability to recruit into militancy from the grave will far outstrip anything he could have done on social media." Just ahead of the assembly elections in Jammu and Kashmir, Omar Abdullah said he doesn't think Afzal Guru's execution served any purpose. But on CNN News 18, we tell you that the politics being played over terror, and here's why these protests harm Bharat's sovereignty. Now, just ahead of the J&K Phase 3 polls, there is significant Iranian influence on Kashmiri Shia. Iranian plus Hezbollah leaders' pics have been seen being circulated in some mosques. Shia terror attacks are going unresolved due to a lack of database. There is huge chatter on social media, almost a 40 to 50% increase on social media platforms like Telegram, etc., around the idea of attacks on Hezbollah. And it's all happening in this region, in Bharat. Among the Shia community, database focuses on Sunni terror associates and not Shia, so that's a concern that the intel agencies have now raised. There's a pattern of Kashmiri youth visiting Iran's Qom province that's been seen, and potential future connection with Iran and its affiliated groups. Intel sources point towards a larger conspiracy. They say many youth from Kashmir are traveling towards Iran's Qom province as it is the largest center for Shia scholarship in the world. Intel sources revealed that it's considered to also be the place of A, radicalization of Shia youth, and B, according to Intel sources, radicalized youth are then now hired by the Iranian intelligence agency or the Quds force, and they remain on their payroll and loyal to them, and they are leaking information about Bharat and other places back to Iran. Youth are being trained to be sleeper cells in our country. That's what the intel source is saying. Iran have associates in the form of Houthi in Yemen, Hezbollah in Lebanon, and the Hamas, despite being a Sunni outfit in Palestine. And they may look for Bharat and Pakistan as new possible centers for activities, recruitment, and this could impact Shias in Bharat, who are largely, so far, have been peaceful and away from these kind of terror activities. Let's go across and understand why we should raise the alarm bells and why we should be concerned when elements who are parliamentarians, elements who are constitutional position holders, people who aspire to be chief ministers of the Union Territory or eventually back to the state of Jammu and Kashmir sometime in the future, those who have held constitutional positions in the past, they are all mourning and trying to hail a designated terrorist as a hero. Sushil Pandit, Kashmiri activist with us. SP Vaid, former DGP Jammu and Kashmir with us. Tausif Shah, leader of the PDP with us. Ahmad Ayaz, political analyst with us. Namaste and Jai Hind to everybody. Thank you very, very much. SP Vaid, your thoughts? You have even taken to social media posts saying this kind of hailing of Nasrallah is detrimental.
Namaskar, Anandji. Yes, I did tweet and my concern is badi mushkil se we have been able to get peace in Kashmir with a lot of sacrifices. You know, we from J&K police itself have lost more than 1,700 our officers and jawans, and thousands have been injured, including 7 Director General rank officers. Civilians, so many civilians in Kashmir have lost their lives. I think the total number crosses even 45,000, all total deaths together. So many casualties of the Indian Army, paramilitary, and other kind of people. So I think with a lot of effort, Kashmir is returning to normalcy. But then this kind of just for votes, this kind of glamorizing terrorist organization and terrorist leader who has been, I was listening to your presentation, about 45 countries, including some of the Arab countries, have designated.
Yes. 60 Hezbollah countries, actually.
60 countries designated Hezbollah as a terrorist organization, and you listed how many terrorist incidents they were able to do, and how they are using their own people as shields. We have all seen on the international media. And I would have been very happy if my boy who belonging to my J&K police, who laid down his life yesterday, if people had come in support of that, come hailing his martyrdom, in fact criticizing what Pakistan is doing here, that would have been a real tribute. But no one came for paying tribute to that Head Constable Bashir Ahmed, who lost his life in Kathua district yesterday fighting the terrorist in Mandli, Bilawar. So, this terrorist organization and this leader of Hezbollah, who is about 3,000 kilometers from here. We are so much concerned about it. But in our own backyard, we don't concern. If it is only a matter of Ummah, then what about Bashir Ahmad? And if it is only you are talking of all humanity, then what about all those people of your clan? They are the way they are being treated, minorities, including Hindus in Bangladesh. What about the treatment these people are getting in Pakistan? 75 years back, they were all part of our own culture.
Yeah, geographical extension. You're making a point. Yeah,
I think we should have been more concerned about it than such a terrorist and terrorist organization.
Tausif Shah, how do you want to respond to this? Bashir Ahmad is not even mentioned, but everybody is crying for Nasrallah.
Yeah, thanks, Anand. I'd first like to pay my homage to the Bashir Ahmad, which we have been paying since yesterday. Not yesterday, our party president, Nadu Mufti, even in her election campaigns, has stated her martyrdom. So now coming back to the point of Nasrallah, we'll have to go back a bit. We can see that when was the creation of the Hezbollah? It was created in the year of 1982 when Israel illegally invaded southern Lebanon. So this is the creation. How was the Hezbollah created? Now we don't have to go for Lebanon or any other place. We are just saying, we are simply towing the line which our Prime Minister Narendra Modi is towing, which his predecessors have been towing. Like we can say Mr. P.V. Narasimha, Mr. Vajpayee, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, whichever prime ministers we have seen them standing with the side of Palestine. They have accepted that Israel is violating the human rights there, which we have seen right now. But we have seen that Palestine has been turned into an open-air jail. The small kids, like 3 years old, they are dying for the sake of water. Just for the sake of water, not for the sake of food, I am saying. Water. Food to hai hi hai, but they are even dying for the sake of water. They don't have water over there. Now, second thing is there. So now, whosoever stands with the Palestine, he was fighting for the Palestine. That's what we stand with him. We have no direct relations with the Lebanon. Lebanon has no direct relations with us. And second thing, now, if we call him a terrorist organization, we cannot go by the United Nations, where we have seen that United Nations has already declared him as a terrorist. But we have seen that the Prime Minister of Israel, Netanyahu, he has torn down the documents of the United Nations on its face. He didn't even respect the United Nations. So how can we accept the United Nations has termed him as a terrorist? Or why do we accept that America has termed him as a terrorist? We have to accept what my nation, what India has termed him as. India has not termed him as a terrorist yet. Once India terms him as a terrorist, we'll also accept that he was a terrorist. But right now, we are standing with him, our solidarity with him, that's only because of the Palestine. Nothing else, nothing more, nothing less. We are only standing with the human rights violation of the Palestine.
Right. Now, in this case also, Tausif Shah, just one observation that Bharat has very clearly made a delineation between Palestinians and the Hamas. So the Hamas is a terrorist outfit and Bharat recognizes that, although the Palestinian cause is also something that Bharat is sympathetic. So there is a difference between the Hamas and Palestine very clearly as far as the Bharatiya position is also concerned. But Sushil Panditji, you would want to respond to Tausif Shah?
Thank you, Anand, for having me on the show, and good evening to all fellow panelists and your viewers. You know, it would have been amusing and incredibly jocular had it not been so tragic. They talk about Muslims and innocents being killed, but they don't find Muslims killed in Yemen for the last 2 decades, and they're dying of food and lack of medicine. Why? Because Yemeni Muslims are being killed by fellow Muslims. Not in Syria, not in Iraq, where Muslims are killing Muslims. Not in Libya, where Muslims are killing Muslims. Not even in neighboring Pakistan, where Parachinar, recently dozens of Shias were slaughtered. Hezbollah is a Shia organization and Hassan Nasrallah is a Shia leader. more than a majority of a Muslim world do not even consider Shia Muslims. This is the hypocrisy. In Kashmir, Shias are derogatively called Rafizis, and we were told first the Kafir and then the Rafizis. This is the status of Shias within the Muslim Ummah. And today, to score political brownies, this thing is ignored, papered over, and you shed copious tears. You don't shed these copious tears when Shias are massacred in hundreds, with their mosques bombed relentlessly and remorselessly. This is the hypocrisy that needs to be called out. That's number one. Number two, it is coming very rich when you say, so-and-so country has declared them terrorists, we have not declared them terrorists. Is Hezbollah a state, a legitimate state? The army that they control, is it a legitimate army? Isn't it an armed and illegal militia? Are they part of Lebanese armed forces? No. They operate like a gang under a warlord called Nasrallah. And see the kind of celebrations going on at the killing of Nasrallah among Muslims, among Iranians, in Europe, in America, outside the embassies of Israel. They are partying, dancing in joy because this man was responsible for the miseries of fellow Muslims. The kind of torture chambers he ran in Lebanon, the kind of reign of terror he unleashed in Lebanon among Muslims. So this comes very rich from people in India who want to mourn and beat their breast at the killing of Nasrallah, who was nothing more than a dreaded terrorist, a wretched terrorist who has been given his just wages now. And to say that we are doing it for fellow Muslims, sorry, in this world, more Muslims are killed by fellow Muslims than the non-Muslims. Please recognize that and start opening your eyes and mouth on that first. Otherwise, all such sympathies you show, you pretend for the innocent and the defenseless will be called hypocrisy and nothing else.
Ahmed Ayaz?
Yeah, Mr. Anand, thank you. You see, different people may look at it differently. They have their own, they are free to look at the way they want. But, I don't see there is much to read in it, excepting that Hassan Nasrallah has been standing against the, Israel, and then Iran has talked about him. So anyone standing against Israel is obviously, if not the whole Muslim world, but Muslims, particularly in Jammu and Kashmir, will stand in support of, and more so when Iran supports anything or any development like this takes place, where Iran is involved. Obviously, Iran being an Islamic republic, at least the people, the Muslims in Jammu and Kashmir, particularly will stand, and then it must have happened in the past also. And as I see that it can happen in the future also, because it's not just because somebody is directly supporting the Hassan Nasrallah. It is because some sentiment is involved with the Iran being an Islamic republic, and then anyone standing against the Israel. And people, definitely Muslims, particularly in Jammu and Kashmir, will stand against, stand in support of such a man. And since the Hassan Nasrallah has been doing so, that looks to be a reason. There is nothing much beyond that, as I see.
No, but why will people in Jammu and Kashmir stand with whatever Iran does or says? They should be bothered about what is happening in their own country and what Bharat stands for and Bharat says, right? How does it matter what Iran says?
As I said, that when I said that Muslims, there's a sentiment involved. Iran being an Islamic, republic. And
Islamic Republic or a Shia Republic? Are you saying is it because there is a Shia connection to it? Say it then openly, no?
No, it's not. No, we don't say that way. We don't say that way. Well, that is a Shia populated, and in Jammu and Kashmir also Shias are living.
So then say it like that, no? Saying that this is purely sectarian, that Iran is Shia, so largely the Shia population in Kashmir will try and will join issue or find sentimental attachment there. Is that what you're trying to say? Then say it like that.
I, I won't call it sectarian because it's colored with the Israel also. So Israel, even if you say that Iranians are Shias, but there's not this is not like Israel. Israel then is then another where we club together. So as such, it can't be seen only as an Shia Sunni or Shia Muslim or Sunni Muslim. It has to be seen as Muslims as a whole. This is what I
so
see.
you want to have identify with the Shia Iran, but you also want to be seen as a collective and Muslims not at sectarian, because you don't see it as Shia and Sunni. You can't have both. You can't have both. Because Iran is backing the Hezbollah as a Shia outfit and it's a front. The point is it's a front for a proxy war. So you are saying that Kashmir, that's all right, SP Ved, do you agree with this logic? Because Nasrallah said Azad Kashmir, Nasrallah called Bharat as an occupier of Kashmir. So are these people also endorsing that?
It appears. See, if they stand by, I understand the linkages of Shia community in Srinagar, Badgam, and some areas of other Kashmir Valley, they have a lot of relationship with Iran. But if it was human to human relationship, they are standing for the people of Iran, I can understand. And people of Iran, their sentiment about the radical government which is in Iran. I think thousands of women have been murdered by this very radical government there. And Palestine, common people, fine. You stand, you have a sentiment. But then standing by a terrorist organization, as Sushilji was saying, you saw how people celebrated all across the Muslim world. You saw it, whether it was Syria, in Iran itself, people celebrated and distributed sweets. How that shows how much people were fed up of this terrorist organization and its leader. You saw in front of the embassy how people celebrated in London. So there is no justification. Can you tell me slogans like "Har ghar se ek Nasrullah niklega"? What does it mean? It means you want the youth of Kashmir to become something like Nasrullah. So, which direction are you taking future generation of Kashmir to? How much difficulty we were able to bring some sense of normalcy, and now if we have to make our youth, everyone in every home in Nasrullah, where are you taking your future generation?
Yeah.
I think
what kind of messaging is that? Tausif Shah, I've got just 2 minutes on the debate and then we got to take a break. Yeah.
Okay. So,
yeah,
very humbly, very respectfully, I'd like to reply to Mr. Sushil Pandit and our former DGP, Mr. Ved. I just feel that we have seen some of the people also celebrating here. They have tweeted, they have the message on the Facebook that they're very happy with the killing, but simultaneously we have seen the protests. Like same thing has happened in the Europe. We have seen many Jews, please note my words. We have seen many Jews protesting against the killings, and we have seen many Muslims supporting the killing. So this cannot, there are different, it's a social fabric, different thinking, different thoughts, different people. So you cannot calculate one thing and leave the second thing down.
No, but Tausif Shah, the question is, as political leadership, what is it that you're going to advocate? Are you going to advocate aligning with cultures or with terrorist outfits and violent intents? Are you going to advocate aligning with elements who have been proscribed or elements who are being celebrated across the world? That's the question. That's the question mark.
Anything that fetches votes.
I'd like to answer that. We have already seen the 30 years of the turmoil in J&K state. We have already seen the 30 years of turmoil state, and we know what militancy is. We have seen the exodus of our Pandit brothers. We know how it hurts. So we would not like to align with the terrorists. We would not like this state to once again go down back to the terrorism, back to things what have happened, the gun culture and the other things, the blastings, and you could not come out. We are highly against it. That's why we are in the elections. Otherwise,
if that is the case, then ahead of the third phase, then that should not have been. What should have been spoken more? Would should have been Bashir Ahmed and not Hassan Nasrallah. That's what I'm saying. हर घर से Bashir Ahmed निकलेगा कोई कहता तो and you should have populated those pictures rather than young children coming out and saying हर घर से Nasrallah निकलेगा. So it's about what you're trying to feed the masses while you're sitting here on national television and talking the right thing. On the streets of Jammu and Kashmir, are you actually walking the talk? That's the bigger concern. Well, I have to pause on that note. We'll let the voter decide. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we shift from Jammu and Kashmir. We turn towards Tamil Nadu, ladies and gentlemen, and what's happening there. Udhayanidhi Stalin is elevated. Is he experienced enough? And the larger question is, he's not been even given a portfolio. So why this? Is this merit or just brazen dynastic politics and parivarwad? Does that stick, that charge? Stay with us.
The search.
Ambulances were seen rushing through streets in southern Lebanon on Sunday, as Israel pressed Hezbollah with more strikes after killing the Iran-backed group's leader Syed Hassan Nasrallah in an escalating military campaign. Israel's attacks have dealt a stunning succession of blows to Hezbollah after almost a year of cross-border fire, killing much of its leadership and revealing gaping security holes. Also Sunday, video posted to social media showed a large fireball and smoke plume above the port city of Hodeidah in Yemen. Israel said it hit targets there in response to missile attacks by the Iran-backed Houthis on Israel in recent days. Defense Minister Yoav Gallant said, quote, "Our message is clear. For us, no place is too far." White House National Security spokesperson John Kirby said all-out war with Hezbollah or Iran would not help residents of northern Israel return to their homes. He said diplomacy remains the right path. In Iran, which helped create Hezbollah in the early 1980s, senior figures mourn the death of Nasrallah. The country's interior minister said such assassinations, blind and covert assassinations, will have no result for the survival of this regime. Nasrallah's body was recovered intact from the site of Friday's strike, a medical source and a security source told Reuters on Sunday. Hezbollah has not yet said when his funeral will be held.
Are you going to talk to Prime Minister Nadu? You haven't had anything to say to him?
Yes, I will be talking to him, and I'll tell you what I say to him when I talk to him.
Yes, sir. Can an all-out war in the Middle East be avoided?
It has to be. We really have to avoid it. And we've already taken precautions relative to our embassies and personnel who want to leave, but we're not there yet, but we're working like hell with the French and many others.
Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin's son Udhayanidhi Stalin officially assumed charge as state's deputy chief minister with his and with this ending days of speculation over this entire move. Udhayanidhi Stalin's elevation comes ahead of the assembly elections in 2026, but a lot of questions are being raised about this move apart from the dynasty charge. M.K. Stalin was elevated as deputy chief minister of Tamil Nadu in May 2009 after being active in politics for over 3 decades. In contrast, Udhayanidhi has won assembly polls only once and has made his political debut just 5 years ago. Word is that he hasn't even been allocated any portfolio. So is he just a figurehead? Or is he truly going to lead the DMK's charge in 2026? Or is this elevation actually to counter a fresh crop of younger leaders across the Tamil Nadu political spectrum? Now, is this elevation on merit or just brazen dynastic politics? Let's debate that. Pradeep Bhandari, national spokesperson of the BJP with us, P. Pula Rao, senior journalist with us. Your thoughts, P. Pula Rao. Namaste and Jai Hind, gentlemen.
I think you have to understand the context. Merit in politics is winning elections. That's the first sign. If you don't win the elections, you cannot become a minister, you cannot become a chief minister. Stalin has scored outstanding victory in the 2019 Lok Sabha elections, and then the assembly elections later, and then the parliament elections. You know, winnability is a very important condition. I don't say it's everything. Winnability is important. Stalin has won. Number two, you know very well Tamil Nadu politics. There are lots of seniors who have been there from Karunanidhi's time, who are ministers, MPs, everything. They won't like each other to be the next in charge, even nominally. So Udhayanidhi Stalin fits that role. And the third thing, which you know very well, parties which don't have some kind of succession table, regional parties. And you've got two major examples. You have got JDU of Nitish Kumar and Naveen Patnaik's BJD. There's no succession. And there is a lot of problems there going on. A lot of problems. You know, I didn't create the dynastic situation in India, nor did you. It is there. We have to tackle it. We have to digest it. And this is the way out. You have to have some succession plan. If not him, somebody else. Some leadership.
Dr.
Yes,
Manmohan Singh became Prime Minister of Bharat twice without winning a single election. He was nominated for the Rajya Sabha,
yes.
but to the Rajya Sabha, but it was purely on merit of him being a successful policy maker and in governance that he got that position. So winnability not always is the reason, but merit can be beyond election winnability also. The other thing is,
I agree.
The other thing is
parties,
grassroots. Are you trying to say that the DMK is such a tall, this one does not see beyond the parivar? Is that what you are saying, that in DMK none of the other leaders, tall leaders, are good enough to merit elevation to the party president's post or the deputy CM post? And Mr. Pula Rao, why has he not been allocated a portfolio?
So he will be allocated a portfolio. He is on the run. He is being trained. And one has to also see that the Stalin and his family have not made waves in their personal lives. You know, there are merit in it. You don't find them in various situations. And it takes time. I may just draw your attention. Experience. Yesterday I pointed out, Jayalalitha was a good chief minister. No experience when she became chief minister. Same thing for MGR. Same thing for the great Kamraj Nagar. Experience will come. And this is a challenge for him. Udhayanidhi Stalin himself
My point is, I'm not questioning Mr. Udhayanidhi's ability. He's a youth leader. He's got popularity. He's won assembly polls. But by appointing him DCM and not giving him a portfolio, who's undermining his ability, or who underestimating his ability?
That is an administrative task.
That's the question I'm asking. Pradeep Bhandari? What's the problem?
Anand, first of all, this whole logic of, yes, I'll tell you there are threefold problems. A, when Mr. Stalin had come into power and when Mr. Stalin had come into politics, he was given a seat called as Chepak. That is a seat which is a DMK stronghold, and the DMK has not lost that seat since 1996. If you look at merit, when he was the Minister of Welfare, 40% of funds which were meant to be given to the SCs and the STs, he was not able to utilize that, and that fund was diverted to other purpose. So if you look and ask a very basic question, could Udhayanidhi Stalin have been made the Deputy Chief Minister had he not been Mr. Stalin's son? The answer is a big no, because even if you look at performance, he is one of the weakest performing ministers. And on a larger national level, Anand, the entire thing of dynasty and parivarwad is what connects every Indie Alliance leader. And allow me 20 seconds to complete. Could Mr. Lalu Prasad Yadav's son had been the RJD chief had he not been Mr. Lalu's son? The answer is big no. Could Rahul Gandhi, despite losing 50 elections, continue to be the face of the Congress party had he not been Sonia Gandhi's son? The answer is big no. Could Akhilesh Yadav, despite losing successive elections, continue to be Samajwadi Party's chief if he had not been Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav's son? The answer is a big no. Could Arvind Kejriwal's wife be sitting on a chief minister's chair and giving sermons to people of Delhi for some time till he was in jail had she not been Mr. Kejriwal's wife? The answer is big no. Could Mr. Umar Abdullah had the party's control in his hand had he not been Farooq Abdullah's son? The answer is a big no. So if you look at all these people in the party is controlled by the family. There is no harm in people from different families entering politics. But when only a single party controls, a single family controls the party, this is what is dynasty politics. And this is the exact precise issue in case of Mr. Udhayanidhi Stalin, has been the similar issue in case of Mr. Akhilesh Yadav, or has it been the case in Rahul Gandhi, or hasn't it been the case in Mr. Tejasvi Yadav?
Pullarauji.
One thing, I go, you replace dynasty with control. Who controlled the BJP during Vajpayee's time? 2 people, maybe 3. I didn't say it, Kanshi Ram said it. Now who control? I'm not finding error. Who controls the BJP? The 10 crore members or 3 or 4 people? That's the nature of politics in India. There are no term limits. There is no open election and party election. It is not from bottom to top, it's top down. It is a central system like Stalin's system in all parties. All parties. I don't think that is the correct thing for my friend to say that this is my back there. There is a lot of democracy.
It is.
It's not there.
1 minute.
It is not there. It is all equal. You have to condemn politics for that.
You replace the word parivar with control, and then you try to make that example. That's a master stroke in making an argument. But with respect to the BJP, sir, it is fallacious because you have 3 former presidents, former National Party presidents of the BJP who are currently union ministers in the party, and that too in the last decade when none of these parties have seen a different president except for in recent past with the Congress party because Sonia ji could not continue, Rahul ji did not want to be there, so Mr. Kharge is the party president. Other than that, no other party has seen a president beyond the family or the first custodian in terms of the Parivarwad example. But Pradeep Bhandari, BJP, 2 or 3 people control. All other parties, 2 or 3 people control. That's what Mr. Pullarau's argument is.
Again, Mr. Punnaga did not understand what I said. When a family is equal to a political party, that is what is dynasty politics. When the entire control of a party is with only one family and the successive generations of one family, that is what is dynasty politics. And I will tell you the difference. Right now, Mr. Nadda is the president. Before that, Mr. Amit Shah is the president. Before that, Mr. Rajnath was the president. Before that, Mr. Nitin Gadkari was the president. At one time, L.K. Advani was the president. Then Venkaiah Naidu ji was the president. Bengaru Lakshman was the president. Kushabha Thakre was the president. Murli Manohar Joshi was the president. L.K. Advani was the president. Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji was president. None of these individuals are directly related by any one family. Number 2, their siblings are no guarantee that the siblings of these respected leaders will be the party president of the Bharatiya Janata Party. There is no guarantee. So the level playing field is there. People from dynasty, from different families can enter. But here in Bharatiya Janata Party, you have a level playing field. And allow me to quote Kuldeep Nair. When Kuldeep Nair in his book had asked Lal Bahadur Shastri that what do you think is in the mind of Nehru, Lal Bahadur Shastri said, unke dil mein unki suputri hai. No author can say कि भाई किसकी भारतीय जनता पार्टी के में प्रेसिडेंट के दिल में क्या है उससे नेक्स्ट प्रेसिडेंट तय नहीं होता है. That is the premise difference is what I am saying. There are no 3 successive generations which completely have control on the Bharatiya Janata Party, but that is the case with every other party in this country. This is why they are dynasty driven party. We are not dynasty driven party.
Pullarauji.
One thing, Anandji, if I may just say on a personal footnote, there is a case of mine on the Supreme Court saying have elections, internal elections on all political parties conducted by the Election Commission of India. Then all this argument will go off. But they are not doing it. That's a real electoral reform.
No, those elections can't be controlled by the Election Commission of India. No, because they will come under they will all be governed by the constitution of each of these political parties, which all political parties have to have their own constitution. The argument will be made that it cannot come under the aegis. Only thing that can be mandated is that the election has to be a election, not a selection like most of the parties conduct.
Most of the parties. Then Mr.
Yeah.
Session was election commissioner.
Correct. In this
He
case,
had
you would
a-
also agree, Mr. Pullarao, that if you feel somebody is worthy enough to be the Uttaradhikari and you're designated the person as not just Yuvraj but also Deputy Chief Minister, you should also give that person portfolio. Otherwise, by giving that person no portfolio, it is underestimating ability, or it also opens that person up to ridicule, saying that you're just a figurehead there, you got nothing to do.
No, you might just quoted Lal Bahadur Shastri ji. He had no portfolio. He was minister without portfolio, and the minister without portfolio means you have portfolio everything. It means everything. Lal Bahadur Shastri was a minister without portfolio.
Okay,
You can
Pradeep
think about
Bhandari, but he was the Prime Minister of the country, sir.
No, before that, he was minister without portfolio.
Okay, yeah, Pradeep Bhandari.
Anand ji, you have interviewed Sharmishta Mukherjee, if I recall very well, and Sharmishta Mukherjee in her book categorically said that her father was not made the prime ministerial candidate because Sonia Gandhi ji did not want it. So again I reiterate, it is about one family having control. I ask another question. Was Mr. Udhayanidhi Stalin made the Deputy Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu without any portfolio just because he slandered and abused Sanatan Dharm and called Sanatan Dharm as dengue, malaria, AIDS? By doing so, is the India Alliance giving a message to the people across the country that they will promote individuals who abuse the Hindu faith? That is also point number one. Because even on merit,
that is
one of the worst performing ministers.
That's a larger political ball that you want to throw at the opposition. But the fact is, within Tamil Nadu, the interpretation is what's happening within the DMK. Is there a clear succession of leadership, especially because the elder Stalin is not keeping very well. So there has been this speculation going on for a while. We are glad that Mr. Stalin is back in action, but perhaps this is also that there is a continuance in governance and there is no leadership crisis and there is absolute clarity as to who's in charge.
But why not anybody else except his son, Anandji?
We may not agree. We may agree, disagree on this, but this is how the politics of the state is being run and the affairs of the party are being run. That's how it is, a statement of fact. Pradeep Bhandari and Pullarao, thank you very much. We're going to take a very short break on that note. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, disturbing pictures that arise from Bangladesh. Is the world ignoring a nation that's on the cusp of yet another pogrom? A pogrom against the minorities in Bangladesh, largely Hindus. Is the plan already afoot there? We come back with why we ask this question. Stay with us.
The search for the
Hindu messiah in Bangladesh continues unabated, ladies and gentlemen. Islamists continue to dictate terms, and shockingly, there seems to be no will by the Bangladesh administration to curb this, stop this. Last week, we told you how radicals have set terms for Hindus if they want to celebrate Durga Puja. And now the minority community faces threat to its very identity. CNN News 18 via intel sources has accessed two videos where radical Islamists are seen threatening Hindus. While in the first video, Hindus are being labelled as terrorists. In the second one, a radical sitting on an open stage addressing a mass gathering is seen giving Bangladesh Hindus a one-week ultimatum to leave the country.
সন্ত্রাসীদেরকে বলবো এটা গুজরাট নয়, এটা বাংলাদেশ। আমি হিন্দুদেরকে বলবো এটা দিল্লি নয়, এটা বাংলাদেশ। আমি বলবো এটা ইন্ডিয়া নয়, এটা শাহজালালের পুণ্যভূমি বাংলাদেশ। এখানে আপনি আমার ভাইকে পিটিয়ে মারবেন আর পূজার নামে দেশি অস্ত্র আমাদেরকে দেখাবেন। যদি আমাদের সাথে আপনারা খেলতে চান, মাঠে আসেন, আমরা খেলার জন্য প্রস্তুত।
আমি হুঁশিয়ার করে দিতে চাই, তাদের বিচারের জন্য যদি আবারও রাস্তায় নামা লাগে, আমরা আবার রাস্তায় নামবো। এখনো তারা ষড়যন্ত্র করছে, কখনো হিন্দু নামে, কখনো সংখ্যালঘু নামে, কখনো চট্টগ্রাম প্রেস ক্লাব বলে, চট্টগ্রাম প্রেস ক্লাবের তারা কি বলেন, নেতা লিডার বলেন, তথাকথিত সাংবাদিক বলে। তাদেরকে হুঁশিয়ার করে দিতে চাই, তোমরা তাল বাহানা করবে না, গুটিয়ে ল্যাজ গুটিয়ে দেশ থেকে ভাগো, অতি সত্বর ভেঙে যাও। সাবধান করে দিতেছি, সাবধান হয়ে যাও। এক সপ্তাহ তোমাদেরকে আলটিমেটাম দিয়ে দিলাম, এক সপ্তাহের আলটিমেটাম, তারপরকে তোমাদেরকে দেখে নিব।
Now you just heard two sermons from radical elements, and here's more proof of injustice meted out to Hindus. Days after the mob lynching of Utsav Mondal, now Islamists have found another target, a Hindu professor, Shrestha Haldar. Shrestha Haldar, a professor at the International University of Business, Agriculture and Technology in Dhaka, posted a status on her Facebook profile where she wrote against those who regularly campaign against the Durga Puja. The result of which, she has been accused of blasphemy and sacked from her job too. Not just that, a hate campaign has been launched against her on social media. Dr. Ankita Datta, researcher and columnist with us, and Bikram Banerjee, activist working for Bangladesh Hindu with us. Namaste to the lady and the gentleman. Bikram Banerjee, what's going to happen? There are radicals who are openly standing there and calling Hindus as terrorists. Then there are others who are saying, I'm giving you 7 days to get out of this country like your Bab Dada have gone out.
I don't know the answer because today there is another incident happened like Utsav Mondal in the I think I have the detail. Let me quickly look into
Shrestha
that.
Haldar, the professor.
Chattogram again, Potia. Hello. Can
Yeah,
you
yeah,
hear me?
go ahead. Yeah, so you are saying another instance in Chattogram, in Potia. Yeah, please go ahead.
Chattogram, Potia, the Utsav Mondal, similar sort of incident. They targeted a Hindu boy. Fortunately, they actually targeted the army van. They thought the Hindu boy is there. In the army van, it was actually one of the army paribar. The major's family was there. Major ties. So the guy got saved because of the misplaced identity. So this is happening. This is like what we have seen in ISIS. It's the same pattern. So Bangladesh is going towards the not even Pakistan is going towards the ISIS way. There is no scope of any other than Muslim. The radical Muslims can stay there. And only way to solve this problem, and we're working behind, we need to file a case against the Bangladesh government, current government, in the International Court of Justice, and that can only be done by another member country. That means another government. Whether it is Indian government, I could urge only the Indian government, or any other countries, the smaller country, they can file the case. When that case gets filed, only then something could happen.
Ankita Datta, should we be worried about not just a pogrom being carried out, but that would also mean that there could be a mass exodus that could be triggered in the days to come?
Surely, and the recent attack on the Chakma community in Bangladesh, and see, these incidents have been taking place in quick succession, and there is now an escalated attempt to victimize and demonize the Hindus. simply because of their identity. This is simply blind hatred against a community, and it is right there now on the surface. And this is selective targeting of Hindus, which is a manifestation of the Islamic mindset, their illogical hatred towards Hindus, and it is a pre-planned, concerted assault, I would say, to demonize the Hindu identity. And so many incidences of rapes and murders of Hindu women and girls in Islamic countries like Pakistan, Bangladesh, the everyday news of destruction and loot of our temples, all of these have been the result of hatred, which is so very well organized in their psyche, and it is simply too dangerous to be ignored anymore. And you know, this kind of hatred is being inflicted, it is inflicted by these Islamists with this ultimate goal of annihilating Hindus completely and doing a complete genocide of the entire community so that they can achieve their target. So they will first try to dehumanize the entire Hindu civilization and the identity associated with being a Hindu. And after dehumanizing our identity, they just go on a killing spree, just killing and eradicating every Hindu, the entire Hindu population, which becomes so normal for them in due course of time.
No, but they should not be kosher there. They should not be allowed in Bangladesh. I'm going to check if Bikram Banerjee is there. But Dr. Ankita Datta, Mohammad Yunus said Bharat's claims of worries about Hindus and their this one is exaggerated. Claims about Hindus being targeted is exaggerated. Then what are these rallies? Who are these people? Most of them are supposedly supposed to be part of the Jamaat-e-Islami and the Jamaat-e-Islami Bangladesh. Now, if that's the case, then these are the ones who've been let out of the jails and from whom the entire band, this has been, moniker has been taken off. And now they're getting a free run and people are cheering what these people are saying.
Yes, and it's a well-planned and well-organized attempt to wipe out the dying population of the Hindus in Bangladesh. During, especially in view of the upcoming Durga Puja celebrations. And it is an outright assertion to commit a Hindu genocide, which is already under progress in Bangladesh. Because if we look at the pattern, since the period of the Islamic invasion till the present, so this problem is very old, and in countries like Bangladesh, it has become a festering wound now, leading to so many troubles for Hindus as a society throughout the world, and not just for Hindus. This is a problem. This Islamic psyche is a problem for all those freedom-loving people who want to live at peace. It is this hate. The hate is being it is institutionalized now in a country like Bangladesh, and this problem is multidimensional, having significant.
The larger question is, what is it that we do about it? Dr. Datta, stay on with us. We'd just like to play out those two videos again, and please listen carefully. There's also the translation there, and listen to what they're all saying.
সন্ত্রাসীদেরকে বলবো এটা গুজরাট নয়, এটা বাংলাদেশ। আমি হিন্দুদেরকে বলবো এটা দিল্লি নয়, এটা বাংলাদেশ। আমি বলবো এটা ইন্ডিয়া নয়, এটা শাহজালালের পুণ্যভূমি বাংলাদেশ। এখানে আপনি আমার ভাইকে পিটিয়ে মারবেন আর পূজার নামে দেশি অস্ত্র আমাদেরকে দেখাবেন। যদি আমাদের সাথে আপনারা খেলতে চান, মাঠে আসেন, আমরা খেলার জন্য
আমি হুঁশিয়ার করে দিতে চাই, তাদের বিচারের জন্য যদি আবারও রাস্তায় নামা লাগে, আমরা আবার রাস্তায় নামবো। এখনো তারা ষড়যন্ত্র করছে, কখনো হিন্দু নামে, কখনো সংখ্যালঘু নামে, কখনো চট্টগ্রাম প্রেস ক্লাব বলে, চট্টগ্রাম প্রেস ক্লাবের তারা কি বলেন, নেতা লিডার বলেন, তথাকথিত সাংবাদিক বলে, তাদেরকে হুঁশিয়ার করে দিতে চাই, তোমরা তাল বাহানা করবে না, গুটিয়ে ল্যাজ গুটিয়ে দেশ থেকে ভাগো, অতি সত্বর ভেঙে যাও, সাবধান করে দিতেছি, সাবধান হয়ে যাও। এক সপ্তাহ তোমাদেরকে আলটিমেটাম দিয়ে দিলাম, এক সপ্তাহের আলটিমেটাম, তারপরকে তোমাদেরকে দেখে নিব।
Bikram Banerjee, 1 week. Stop protesting, stop plotting, pack up your bags and leave the country. That's what's being said. And that nobody's being arrested for this.
Yes, so it's not only the radical elements in the Bangladesh, they are getting emboldened day by day. It's a free run. There is no government. And government is tacitly supporting that. So I, instead of going into the detail what is happening, because we need to keep reporting, and thanks to channels like you and journalists like you, many of the channels and news media is kept mum. We also need to take action, and that action is only, I can see, the International Court of Justice, or only country which can take the decisive action is
Right.
India. If needed, we need to intervene. But I do not know, one of the things that I was talking about, International Court of Justice.
Well, somebody from Bangladesh has to move there before India gets involved, and the Bangladesh itself has to respond. That is also important. Ankita Datta and Bikram Banerjee, thank you for joining us. Winding up the right stand. Zaka ready with brass tags.
Good evening, this is Brass Tacks. I'm Zaka Jacob. Israel in an airstrike killed one of the world's most dreaded terrorists, the leader of the Hezbollah group, Hassan Nasrallah. While much of the world is heaving a collective sigh of relief at the elimination of this dreaded terrorist, some here in India are eulogizing him. Mehbooba Mufti's PDP suspended the campaign for a day as a mark of respect to the slain terrorist. National Conference's Omar Abdullah has also condemned the killing. The question then is a very simple one. Nasrallah was no Mahatma Gandhi. Why eulogize a man who has the blood of countless Israelis and Americans and other foreign citizens on his hand? A man who terrorized the Middle East, even countries like Syria and Iraq.